station of Fox Sports.
We are sports. We are Sun.
The Rays bats were red hot yesterday in Baltimore, blasting 4 home runs, highlighted by Logan Morrison's mammoth shot onto Utah Street. Today, right-hander Alex Cobb goes to the hill as Tampa Bay goes for the sweep of the Orioles. We welcome you to Charm City, Baltimore, Maryland. In the shadow of the B&O warehouse, constructed at the turn of the 19th and 20th centuries, we are at Camden Yards and Oriole Park for the wrap-up game of this series between the Rays and the Orioles. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to an afternoon of Rays baseball with Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats. Good to have you aboard as the Rays look for the sweep here in Baltimore, coming off victories the first 2 days and a big offensive output yesterday. And when you look at Logan Morrison, this team's only 83 games into the regular season. He already has had a career year.
How about that? 23 home runs for Logan Morrison back in 2011. He has already surpassed that, like you said, in just 83 games. He had gone 6 days without a home run. His longest streak of the season, probably an eternity, it felt like to him. But I'll tell you what, he came out with those 2 homers yesterday to give him the 24, and it is about getting the ball in the air. When you go back and you break down Logan Morrison's numbers, his fly ball percentage this season is 10% higher than any time in his career, and that is translating with his power. It's translating into the long ball. He's obviously already broken his season record, and he will obviously stay healthy. He'll shatter it.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming back from Tommy John surgery for the Rays right-hander Alex Cobb. But BA, if the last 4 games are any indication, he's getting close.
Listen, he's on a nice little run, isn't he? 8 shutout innings against the Pirates and Pittsburgh his last time out. And when you look at what Alex Cobb is doing, it's really simple. He's in complete control of his stuff. That split changeup is coming around, and in complete control of the strike zone. He's done a great job of limiting base runners, and he's keeping the ball in the yard, and it's translated to this right here. A record of 2-0, should be 3-0, should have had that win in Pittsburgh, and the ERA of 1.63. He's got a great idea what he's doing out there, and he is on quite the run.
And a matchup of right-handers, Alex Cobb after his 7th win. Kevin Gossman, his season has been disappointing to this point. Big right-hander 4-7 with an earned run average of 6.07. He struggled on the road and at home. We'll see how he fares today against the Rays lineup. Rays taking on the Baltimore Orioles, looking for the sweep. It would be their first sweep on the road this year. We're back in Baltimore, set to wrap up this series against the Orioles. The Rays winners in the first game in 10 innings, 6-4, and winners in a big way yesterday. It was a 10-3 final. The Rays hit 4 home runs in that one, led by 2 from Logan Morrison. Home runs also from Steven Souza Jr. and Wilson Ramos in that one. Lined up today, presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Alex Smith is going to lead it off in center, followed by Corey Dickerson. Evan Longoria will hit third, then Logan Morrison. Steven Souza Jr. the DH. Tim Beckham at shortstop. Taylor Featherston is at second base hitting 7th. Jesus Sucre will do the catching. Peter Borges is in right field. Borges hitting 9th in the lineup.
Well, and by any measure, the season for Kevin Gausman has been, well, it's been a nightmare. As you look at his season numbers, that earned run average at 6.07. That is the second worst in the American League in his 17 starts. Does have 4 wins, but you can see 86 innings. He's given up 117 hits, 14 of them home runs at opponent average of 327. He'll look to turn it around here this afternoon. I will say this, his last time out, and that was against the Blue Jays, he showed signs of being able to do that. 5 1/3 innings, no earned runs in picking up that 4th win. Let's take a look at the defense as it lines up behind him, brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. And in the outfield, left to right, we have Joey Rickard, Adam Jones, and Seth Smith. Across the infield, third to first, Manny Machado, Ruben Tejada, Jonathan Scope, Trey Mancini with Caleb Joseph behind the plate.
There's Buck Showalter, his club 39 and 41. The Rays come in 43 and 40. And the first pitch of this game is a strike call. Alex Smith starting the day at 310. Had a couple of hits in yesterday's game. Just like that, an 0-2 count on the Rays center fielder.
Trying to set a pace here in the early going too. Working very quickly.
And he gets Smith reaching. So 3 pitches, 1 away.
Well, and I'll tell you what, Alex Smith saw a little bit of everything. That nice backdoor breaking ball to get Gausman to 2 strikes, and then he comes with a nasty changeup arm side run to be able to pick up the strikeout.
Well, the height of efficiency by Gausman there. And now here's Corey Dickerson. Dickerson starting the day hitting 325. He fouls it back on a fastball. Up and out over the plate, fouling it back, strike 1.
Opposing hitters have had a ton of success off of the Orioles starter, swinging at the first pitch and putting it in play. And so you'd expect Corey Dickerson, who's already an aggressive hitter, and really the rest of this Rays lineup to be looking to swing the bats early and often. But don't they always?
Boy, they come right out of that dugout to start the game swinging.
I mean, really do. They really do. We already talked about it in yesterday's game. Lead the American League in runs scored in the first inning.
A high pop to the left side near the line into foul territory now. The left fielder Rickard is there. 2 gone. 87 degrees here in Baltimore today. Clear blue skies, scattered white clouds. Here's Evan Longoria.
And we like the white clouds.
Yes.
They start to get a little bit dark like yesterday, and the downpour comes.
Well, that put us behind schedule yesterday, an hour and 12 minutes. But the Rays came out swinging after the rain delay. Scored 3 in the first and never looked back. Longoria rolls it foul beyond Rocco Baldelli in the coaching box at first. Charlie Montoyo, the coach at third, he had a fun day yesterday, waving runners home.
Saw him icing his shoulder this morning.
High pop up by Evan. Tejada, the shortstop, makes the call near second. It's a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom of the first, no score. Rays and the Orioles concluding this 3-game series. More Rays fans here at the ballpark in Baltimore today. Lineup for the Orioles presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Seth Smith's going to lead it off in right field, followed by Manny Machado and then Jonathan Schoop. Adam Jones hits cleanup in front of the DH Mark Trumbo. Trey Mancini is at first. Caleb Joseph behind the plate. The number 8 hitter is the shortstop Ruben Tejada. And it will be Joey Rickard batting 9th, playing left.
Well, we already talked about the little streak here that Alex Cobb is on over his last 4 starts. You take a look at his season numbers, the record 6-5, ERA 3.73. Tell you, he's had a ton of success against this Baltimore organization. 9 career starts, 4-1 with an ERA of 2 on the nose.
Well, here is Seth Smith, left-handed hitting outfielder. He's been in the leadoff spot most of the time for the Orioles. First pitch from Cobb comes in a little high, a ball, no strikes. Alfonso Marquez calling the balls and strikes. 45 years old. Made his way initially to the big leagues in 1999. The high fly ball back into center. Malik Smith to his left is there and makes the catch. That ball hit very high, and Smith, just before he got to the track, found it and caught it.
Well, 1 away here in the first inning, and let's look at the rest of the Rays defense, brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. Outfield left to right, Dickerson, then of course Smith. Peter Borges gets the start in right field, and then across the infield third to first, Evan Longoria, Tim Beckham back at short, Featherston and Morrison with Jesus Sucre and the sweet catcher's gear behind the plate.
Yeah, Beckham, who did not start yesterday, had a little ankle issue and is back in there at short. Echeverria getting a day off. Beckham had been playing second on the acquisition of Echeverria. There's a strike to Machado.
What do you think about Sucre's gear? Very festive.
Yes. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, and well, as a pitcher,
I like the chest protector.
Yeah.
Because the focus is on the strike zone.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You hit the stars.
Yeah.
Aim for the stars. Didn't that would tell you when you were a little kid?
This one is foul back. 1-2. One out, bases empty. I think that's a good look for Sucre.
I do too.
Little tap foul. Even in the catching position, he looks even taller with that.
It's very slimming.
And I really think we're onto something there with the strike zone, the emphasis on the strike zone.
I mean, I'm thinking the same thing when the Rays go back to their regular colors. Why not?
Yep. Ground ball sharply hit. Beckham up with it. And a quick throw to first. He got it. How about that? Beckham back at shortstop, and he makes an outstanding play.
He's tired of hearing us rave about Echeverria, and he's like, hey, boys, I got some game too.
There's Echeverria.
Yeah. Oh, that was a heck of a play. Oh, man. I mean, this ball was well struck, too. I mean, off the bat hot. And Beckham a couple of steps and a dive. How quickly he gets to his feet and makes a strong throw. Flat-footed, too. That's the thing. Flat-footed throw. Right on the money.
Jonathan Schoop takes a pitch low. Schoop at 297. Tapper foul. Schoop with 16 home runs And like a lot of this lineup for Baltimore, he's aggressive up there. He's in the batter's box with bat in hand and ready to swing.
Yeah, especially now. You know, when you're on a good streak like Jonathan Scope is, you want to use that bat. You want to go out there and swing and continue the hot streak.
Just missed there. 2-1.
I think that's where the challenge lies, really. You know, when you're on a hot streak, try and, you know, and stay with the same approach. Don't try and do too much. Don't just start swinging at everything, because all of a sudden the tide will turn. I think that's one of the reasons why you and I have been so impressed with Corey Dickerson, because with the amount of success that he's had this season, starting right from day one, his approach has not changed. He's not gotten greedy. He's not, you know, tried to do too much. He's just stayed with it, stayed consistent, and he's put together a heck of a first half.
Yeah, he stayed with the program. You know, he started to put something together at the tail end of last year, and then worked really hard over the winter, and it just carried that into this season. And one day has followed the other, and he's had the same approach day in, day out. 2-2 to Scope, and here he is on the verge of an all-star selection, perhaps.
Yeah,
we'll see later this evening.
Well, he had the lead at the last count with hours to go, and so have faith that it stayed that way.
Upstairs, count is full. Well, we've had a chance to see him all season long, so we've seen it and talked about it the entire first half, the kind of year he's put together, and marveled at his consistency. There is strike 3 call. Scope called out on the breaking ball. 1-2-3, go the Orioles. No score.
On Fox Sports Sun, Rays skipper Kevin Cash will be working injured today. Before today's game, Kevin Cash was going for a jog just outside of Camden Yards, and he fractured his left ankle. So you'll see, though, it's not keeping him away from today's game. He'll continue to manage the team, guys.
All right, Alex, thank you. And there's a lesson to be learned in there somewhere. You know, that's what staying in shape and exercise does for you.
Yeah,
you get injured.
And Alex, I believe it's called yogging. It's yogging where he was injured.
There he is. And so Jim Hickey's going to be making all the trips to the mound if it comes to that.
Well, he's the guy that gets yelled at then. Or gets the stare down.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not taking me out.
Well, and you can see Alex Cobb doing that. As much as he likes to be out there and wants to pitch deep into games, you go try to take that ball a little bit too early. I'm a big fan.
2-0 the count to Logan Morrison. Gossman, who made just 8 pitches for a 1-2-3 first. Careful to Morrison, and behind him 3-0.
So efficient in that first inning. But Logan Morrison, you know, swinging the bat well. 2 home runs yesterday, not far from the mind of Gossman, and he wanted no part of him.
You know, when you look at Gossman's numbers this year and striking in that, you know, he pitched almost 180 innings last year in 30 starts, and the Orioles felt that he had made progress and was set to be a top-tier starter in their rotation. And this year, his numbers, his walk total, the walk rate's gone way up, the strikeout rate has gone down, and it's been a major struggle for him.
Yeah, well, and the hits have gone way up, the walks have gone way up. We talk about whip every now and then, that walks and hits per innings pitched.
There's a pitch thrown into the dirt, away from Caleb Joseph, and down to second goes Morrison, and that pitch missed badly.
It certainly did, and what did it catch on Caleb Joseph to ricochet that far away, all the way to the Oriole dugout, off the facing of the dugout. Pitch well short. Oh, right off that left collarbone area, and it just shot over to the right of Joseph. Never saw it.
1-0 the count to Steven Souza Jr. He fouls one out of play.
But anyway, Dwayne, that walk and hits per innings pitch, he's at 1.84. So you're talking almost 2 base runners an inning. That's the worst whip in Major League Baseball. And what do we say? Limit base runners,
yep.
Limit opportunities. Way too many base runners against Gossman, and it's cost him.
He's inside with a fastball there. So it's 2-1.
You can see that there's plenty of stuff there. That fastball at 96, we saw a good breaking ball in the first inning, saw a very good little split.
7 pitches here in the second, 6 out of the zone. And now we go to 2-2. Souza Jr. a 3-hit day yesterday, including the home run to center field in the third when Morrison and Souza Jr. hit back-to-back home runs. The Rays have done that 11 times now. Hit back-to-back home runs this year. And he loves to hit here. 400. Goes into the dugout. Heads up, fellas.
I like they put Wilson Ramos right there to protect the injured ankle of Kevin Cash.
Well, that's a great move by Kevin Cash. He's made some pretty good moves, and that's a good one there.
Hey, take advantage of Wilson Ramos not being in the lineup. Now Corey Dickerson. Can't believe that Wilson allowed Corey to breach his perimeter.
And time granted. Just as Gossman was set to make that delivery out of his stretch. The count is full. Gossman, a very good outing, pitching into the 6th, his last time out against Toronto after a string of problematic starts. And he strikes out Souza. all the way to 3-2. It's the second strikeout for Gausman.
Yeah, and he stayed with the off speed, and right there he goes with that little split changeup. Souza with a little smile and a nod, like, okay, I gotcha. Remember what I did to Dylan Bundy's changeup yesterday? Maybe in the third inning. Rays have to get hot though.
Well, here's Tim Beckham, man in scoring position, 1 out. This one low, gathered in by Caleb Joseph. Gausman under 500 last year, 9-12. With an earned run average just a tad over 3.6. Picks up the strike zone there, and it's 1-1.
That well-located fastball again at 96 miles an hour. And you could see Kevin Gausman, he is so lanky and he's got great hand speed. No, I don't think he's one of those guys that's incapable of throwing the ball straight. Everything's going to move. That fastball, you can see it running. Even that ball up in the zone has arm side run. Of course, the breaking ball is going to move. The changeup has good finish. He just has a live arm. It's just a matter of being able to harness it in the zone.
Beckham stepping out on Gausman. Beckham has seen him before, 1 out of 6 against the tall right-hander. That tapper is foul and squares the count, 2-2.
Nice little grab there. Nice little reach by Souza Jr.
Rolls that one across the top of the dugout. Souvenir. Swing and a miss. Fastball. Something extra at 97 on that one.
He did a great job of tying Beckham up there with that fastball. Brings it in close and just pours it right by the swing. Four-seamer. Even that ball's moving.
Well, there's Featherston, Taylor Featherston, starting at second base again in this game. He swings through the fastball. Strike one. Couple of home runs for Featherston. 5 runs batted in since the Rays got him from the Phillies organization. Takes this one a little low, says Alfonso Marquez. Morrison walked, was wild pitched into second. He was there with nobody out. Now he's there with 2 gone. Featherston started to go and checked. Fairchild confirms that down at first, running the count to 2 balls and a strike. There for a strike call, 2-2. It's pulled foul, a fastball. That one registering 98 on the gun here.
How about that 98-mile-an-hour fastball coming after the changeup, and Featherston pulls it foul.
Yep.
I wonder about that.
Lifted into center field. It's Jones to make the catch. Rays leave a man at second. Through an inning and a half, no score. Rays baseball on Fox Sports Sun is brought to you by your local Ford dealer. By the Florida Department of Transportation. Drive sober or get pulled over. By Jeep. Get great deals at the Jeep Spring Clearance Event. And by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. Beautiful day here in Baltimore. The Rays and the Orioles squaring off. And a couple of youngsters debating it as well, apparently.
Got the throwback going. Very confused young man.
Back to the hill goes Alex Cobb. Adam Jones, the center fielder, leads off for Baltimore. Cobb at a 1-2-3 first. Jones takes a strike. Jones 7 of 26 in his career against Cobb. More at bats against Cobb than any other Oriole in the lineup. Ground ball shortstop. And Beckham is there to make this play. Beckham made an outstanding play on Machado in the first. Takes care of this one off the bat of Jones.
Well, getting an opportunity to go back to shortstop. I think that we can probably all agree that he was not a big fan of having to move from that position, and actually had done a nice job for the Rays out there at shortstop.
Well, he decided not to make any comment about that,
right.
And I guess letting his play at shortstop do the talking for him. A couple of pretty good plays here in the first couple innings. Mark Trumbo takes ball one, 1-0.
Yeah, sometimes there's no upside in talking, and it's a concept that slowly but surely, Dwayne, I'm starting to subscribe to. But
no.
Very slowly.
No. We cannot have that. It's a different thing.
The good thing is we have good men down in the truck.
Yes.
That will start to warn me when it's getting a little close to the edge. And they give me a fighting chance.
Yeah. Everyone needs a handler once in a while.
And I've got two pretty good ones.
1-1 count. This one rolled toward the middle, and Beckham is right there. He's been busy. So 2 up and 2 down in the second inning.
Well, of course, you move him away from the position, you put him at second base, you tweak an ankle so you sit out a couple of days. He's going to get wore out today.
Look out there. He's having a little fun right now.
Well, he's in pretty good rhythm. He's been busy. Here's another one. A little bit. Will sail on that throw. Good thing Logan Morrison, 6'3", 6'4", able to flag it down.
Trey Mancini, the rookie, takes a pitch breaking outside. The Rays in their stars and stripes again today. They'll dress in this uniform Tuesday when they pick up play in Chicago at Wrigley Field against the Cubs. 1-1. Mancini with a .307 average and 14 home runs. Two balls and a strike. Fly ball lifted back into center. Malik Smith on the run is there and makes the catch to retire Baltimore in the second. On to the third. No score. Score on to the third we go. The Rays at 7-Eleven, bringing a $7.11 ticket to Rays fans. Visit a local participating 7-Eleven store and pick up a Rays discount coupon for the game Friday against the Red Sox. Keep saving with $5 Budweiser and Bud Light drafts exclusively on the Budweiser porch. Ages 21 and over, please drink responsibly. Jesus Sucre takes the first pitch. Third inning underway. That pitch is strike. Sucre not only has done a great job behind the plate for the Rays when he catches, but he has swung the bat much better with the Rays than he did in Seattle. Down on the count here. Not only is he hitting .255, but he's had some clutch hits with men in scoring position.
Yeah, he has been doing a great job in those situations where it matters the most. You wonder how much influence, and probably quite a bit, Chad Mottola. It seems a lot of these Rays hitters, changing their approach, getting the ball in the air more, swinging with more conviction and authority.
They say, and I mean, some really good hitters say this, hitting is the most difficult thing in sport to do. You can imagine trying to teach it, and I think to Matola's credit, he tried to simplify things as much as possible. Cutbacker and Gossman underhands the toss to Mancini. Just try to make it as basic as possible.
Yeah. You know, balanced at the plate and keep it basic, because if you go to the plate, dig in, get ready to hit a major league pitcher, and you got a lot going on in your mind,
yeah, you're done.
You are done. You're done before the first pitch is delivered. Keep it simple, have a plan, and like you said, be basic. Turn it loose. These guys have been doing that all season, and the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, and I think Steven Souza Jr. is a big advocate of that because of Matola. There's a strike to Peter Borges.
He's not been shy about talking about sometimes, you know, too much going on in the mind, thinking too much, and all of a sudden you become robotic. You don't swing with as much conviction, and we've seen that with him before, where that swing just kind of slows down, like he's actually thinking while he's swinging, as opposed to now where it's just happening.
Borges over the changeup.
I'll tell you what was happening was his lid, that hair, on a day like today.
Yeah, that hair looks hitterish.
Yeah. So does the beard.
Swing and a miss. Well, the changeup, then the fastball. And that fastball ended 98. So he's done that a couple times already.
Yeah, and this one had some location. He's going to climb the ladder on Peter Borges and just power it right by him. That's an extremely difficult pitch to get to, and when it's 98, almost impossible.
Now Malik Smith. Now Smith out in front of that one. Again out in front, 0-2. It's a ball, 2-strike count. Base is empty, 2 away. Alex takes it low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. High foul. That's backing out of play. A high popper headed toward the stands. Machado's over there, but he runs out of room. I tell you, Gossman has set a pretty good pace here. That first inning was all Baltimore there, and Gossman 8 pitches.
Yeah.
And then he came out and missed on 5 or 6 of the first 7, I think, there in the second inning, recovered, and he's right back to work here in the third. Smith putting up a battle against him. And he is out on strikes. My, oh my. 2 strikeouts in that inning. 5 in the game already. And 1, 2, 3. Go the Rays here in the third. You see that pitch or that movement away from the left-handed hitter, Malik Smith. the summer hits South Beach when baseball's biggest stars take the field for the MLB All-Star Game July 11th, only on Fox. And the announcement of the American and National League All-Star teams will be tonight. That's tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. And there is Corey Dickerson out there. At last release of the vote count, he was ahead.
Is he thinking about it right now?
No.
Not right now?
Not right now. No. Caleb Joseph.
Maybe when this game is over, he can start to focus in. Am I going or am I not?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, he should be going regardless, but he should be going with the vote.
Yep. You can make a case for a couple other ways, including that guy right there.
Yeah.
Logan Morrison.
And he's tied for second in Major League Baseball with home runs. Already has set a career high.
It's a strike to Joseph, 0-2. 6 up, 6 down for Cobb. Joseph, Tejada, and Rickard due up. And Sucre doing a little umpiring himself, liked that pitch and didn't get the call, and so they'll have a little friendly conversation. No harm meant.
Here he is. Yes, sir. They're ready to fire that down to Longoria. A little premature. Did you just see that? This is what I love about Jesus Sucre behind the plate. He doesn't even give a target to Alex Cobb. He laid his glove on the ground like softball. Just put it here. Drop the curveball there. I mean, telling you, the way that he works back behind the plate and gives great visuals to his pitcher on where he wants certain pitches and what he wants done. I mean, have you ever seen a catcher do that before? I've never seen
that. Not like that. You see a catcher say, give it to me down, but not like that.
He rolled the glove over all the way through the delivery.
Yep.
That is fantastic.
Here comes the 2-2 from Cobb. And a little popper, short center. Beckham out in a hurry, can't get there. Ball falls in between Beckham and Smith, and Joseph has a base hit. Well, you talk about placing it perfectly between two speedy guys, Beckham and Smith. That's exactly what Joseph saw happen right there.
Some of the most frustrating hits that you will give up as a pitcher are of this variety. You make the pitch up and in, you jam them, and then this. Into no man's land, and it falls in for a base hit. You're like, are you? I mean, Alex Cobb did everything right, and so did these two. It just was perfectly placed. Yeah, that's the feeling that you have. Are you kidding me? Well, not just roll up a ground ball.
Ruben Tejada, and now he's hit by that pitch. And just like that, the 7 and 8 hitters are aboard with nobody out.
That's the 6th hit by pitch from Alex Cobb,
and it got Sucre as well. Wow, that hit Tejada and Sucre, and Ramos starting to stretch a little bit on the bench there in the dugout.
Boy, right on that joint, the thumb where it heads into the wrist. You know, and you could see as the pitch was delivered, that hand was behind his right leg. You know, the catchers will put that back there to protect it. And then on the ricochet, as it's coming out, it is a perfect hit there in a tough spot.
Paul Harker out there working on that thumb. I mean, what are the chances of that as he just moved that hand up to have that ball move in that direction? And he'll want to throw a couple just to make sure. A little catch here with Alex Cobb. Parker was out there along with Tom Foley. And again, a fractured ankle, putting Kevin Cash on the bench. And Ramos is going to stay on the bench as well right now. Let's hope that we don't hear from that injury anymore from Sucre. Well, the Rays have, with the addition of Ramos and Sucre, you talk about two quality catchers, two good throwing catchers.
Very good defenders.
Well, here's Rickard, 2 on, nobody out. Rickard shows the bunt, and that breaking ball stayed a little high. You see Sucre still shaking that right hand.
Yeah, you just wonder in between innings, things starts to tighten up and he just does not look comfortable still. You can understand why.
And the bunt popped up, foul ball toward the on deck circle. Count goes to 1-1. Now the Orioles trying to advance both men into scoring position. Rickard has one sacrifice bunt this year. They gave it a shot on that one and he fouled it. And he's showing it again, puts it down. Cobb bobbles it, but has a play at first. Joseph goes to third, Tejada to second, Featherston over from second base to take the throw.
A nice job there by Rickard. And that's always a danger too, because if you've got a first baseman that is crashing left-handed and you bunt it his way, that's where you're able to get that runner at third base. But right here, Rickard still puts it up that way and forces Alex Cobb to make the play. Gets the job done. And we were always, runners on first and second. You wanted to bunt it up the third base line and force the third baseman to field it. That way you knew, unless you're running the wheel play, there was going to be no play at third. And the opposite is true, especially with a left-handed first baseman. Going that way, you set yourself up to maybe lose that lead man.
Orioles have been very good with men in scoring position. Top of the order, Seth Smith takes the first pitch down. Smith hitting .207 with men in scoring position, but as a team, the Orioles are at .293, leading the American League and third in the major leagues.
And the only problem, they just have not given themselves enough opportunities. As of the ball game yesterday, they had the fewest at-bats in Major League Baseball with runners in scoring position.
And look at those first two pitches. Both missing, but barely missing.
And Alex Cobb wondering to Alfonso Marquez, where exactly are those?
Now he throws a strike. 2-0 breaking ball. 2-1.
He's got a lot of confidence in that curveball. It was always fastball changeup with Alex Cobb, the split change, but the curveball this year, out of necessity, has become his primary secondary pitch, and he's shown the ability to be able to throw that for strikes when he wants, and then to be able to take it out of the zone. And so a 2-0 count, Seth Smith is geared for the heater. So here you go, 2-1. Now, once you do that and you're successful, you tell Seth Smith, you may not even get a fastball here 2-1, or you may. You start to play mind games with him. Will he come back with it?
Little tap back to the hill, holding the runner at third, and he throws it away. Joseph will score. Tejada will go to third and stop there. And into second goes Smith. High throw from Cobb, and the Orioles take the lead. So the Orioles get a gift run as that throw got away from Cobb.
Absolutely beside himself. He made the pitch, he made the play, he looked back, he turned, and you could see the elbow dip, and the ball sailed.
Oh, he got what he wanted right there. And the Yanks been throwing it away. A run home, and now it's Manny Machado. Then it's second and third again. That's a strike. And now regaining focus here in this situation. Machado retired on a good play by Beckham in the first inning. Shot into left field. That one is going to get out of here. After the error, second pitch to Machado, and he hits it out. His 16th home run of the year. And all of a sudden, the Orioles have a 4-run lead.
One of the most frustrating innings maybe of Alex Cobb's career. You go back to the beginning. The bloop hit by Caleb Joseph on a well-executed pitch. Then the hit by pitch. Then the error. And then this right here, a ball that does not get to its spot, and Manny Machado obliterates it. That ball got out of here so quick. A line drive right into the stands in left field. And just like that, like you said, Dwayne, you're down 4.
Second career home run for Machado off Cobb. The tap to short, picked up by Beckham. And the throw to first. Jonathan Scope is out. 2 gone. Well, a shaky inning for the Rays, as you point out. The bloop hit by Joseph, the hit battered, then the sacrifice, and then a little comebacker by Smith, and Cobb threw it away. And 2 pitches later, the home run by Machado. Here's Adam Jones. Pitch is low. Jones grounded out. Rays have the shift on again for him. Against the shift, he grounded out to Beckham in the second. Batting again in the third. It's a foul ball back out of play, 1-1. The error on Cobb is 3rd of the year, and the 60th committed by the Rays. And that set up the Machado home run.
It's an area of the team that the Rays attempting to try and clean up. The physical errors, the mental errors in the field, strengthen that defense.
Pitch in on Jones, and he fouls this one. Most of the time with Jones, if it's just around the plate, it doesn't have to be on the plate. We saw him earlier in this series just refuse to be walked, pitch after pitch, fouling them away that were well off the plate.
Listen, if he gets into the 20s on walks for the season, he's doing a job.
He's 14 right now.
14,
and that's a lot of walks at this time of the year for him.
A ton.
Yeah.
So yeah, double that out. 28 walks. I mean, the patience that he has shown so far this season. He figures I get 3 swings and I'm going to use them all on just about everything.
Now the count is full. Rays are going to have to play catch up now. Mark Trumbo's on deck. But it's early, so we'll see how the Rays bats respond to Kevin Gausman. Ground ball. Beckham there for this one. The throw's right on target. Hitting over, but a 4-run frame for Baltimore. 4-0 Orioles.
Orioles lead the Rays 4-0. We're now in the fourth. Some good news for the Rays, though. Brad Miller began his rehab assignment yesterday in Port Charlotte. He played in both of the Stone Crabs games for their doubleheader on Saturday. And in the two games combined, he went 2 for 4 with a pair of doubles, 2 strikeouts, and a run scored. Miller on the DL for the second time this season with a groin strain. He's back in the lineup today for the Stone Crabs. Dwayne.
All right, thank you very much. Rays already second in the league in home runs with 127 starting play today. Corey Dickerson has 17 of those, and he fouls away that first pitch for a strike. Well, the Rays have to go to work now, down by 4 runs. 3 of those runs in the bottom of the third earned. Pitch is wide. 1-1. You know, we were talking about Dickerson earlier and the way he finished the season last year. When you think about where he was and the progress he has made, here we are in the first couple days of July. You know, last year, near the end of June, he was under 200. In the closing days of June, he was hitting 198 a year ago. And here he is a year later, been among the league leaders in hitting all season. Taps this one to second. And Scope throws him out.
Man, that is pretty remarkable.
He started today hitting .325, second in the league, and battling to get over 200 a year ago at this time.
Wow.
And then finished strong, had a good September, and was intent upon turning that around, dedicated the offseason to do just that, and boy, has he accomplished that.
Found the formula for success.
Longoria takes a strike. Ground ball, shortstop. Tejada up thrown. 2 gone. Now watch the Rays defend the Trop from the invaders of the North. Saturday, that'll be July 8th. The Rays take on the Red Sox, and the first 15,000 fans take home their very own Evan Longoria Game of Thrones bobblehead. So be a part of the action. Visit RaysBaseball.com today. Two ground ball outs, two quick outs by Gossman. This is exactly what the Orioles want. Now Logan Morrison. Pitches a ball.
I think Caleb Joseph was assuming a strike there too. Congratulating Gossman for getting ahead of Logan Morrison, but Alfonso Marquez once again not so fast.
Swing and a miss. That fastball, and you can see Morrison trying to get on top of that one.
Yeah, he's trying to get the ball in the air. Those balls that are elevated are easier to get in the air. We were talking about it a little bit in the the open to the game here today. His fly ball percentage over the course of his career is 10% higher this year than at any other point. And guess what? Much like happened with Longoria, we see it happen with all these guys getting the ball airborne. With his power and strength, it's translating into the long ball, already a career high. You see those balls up in the zone, and you're trying to hit that, the bottom half, trying to create that backspin, get the carry, get the home run.
Into the dirt, and it's 2-2. If you look at the way the Orioles are defending, take a look at the Toyota inside look. Home runs for Logan Morrison. He's hit 24 this year in 79 games. In the year in which he hit 23, 2011, took him 123 games.
Well, and you know what? For the sake of the broadcast, Dwayne, we were able to get the unicorn into the top of the fourth inning before it was put down. And it was put there was a self-inflicted. Which is inexcusable.
The video portion took it on the chin there.
It did.
2-2 now. There's a shot into right field, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Oh, that line drive all of a sudden started to drop on Smith, and he was almost handcuffed by that out there.
Like he was trying to get out of the way of it. Like, get off me, line drive. I'm not going to catch you. Just don't hurt me. This ball was stung. That ball in. He gets that airborne. You talk about Manny Machado's ball getting out of here in a hurry, and Seth Smith right there gets caught in between and ends up retreating.
They had Smith in the right direction, but it was a precarious spot for him. Well, Steven Souza Jr. Oh, if Souza could pop one out of here, this is exactly what the Rays would like to do following the 4-run third by Baltimore. I don't know the count. Souza homered, doubles, and singles here Friday night to eventually give the Rays the win. Two and 0. Rays trying to answer. You had two base runners, Morrison on each time he's been up. Pitch is fouled back, fastball in on Souza Jr., and he fouled it. Souza Jr. with 16 home runs this year, had 17 last year. A good takedown just below the zone.
You go back to the first at bat, he was able to strike out Souza Jr. And a couple of changeups there towards the end of that at bat. You remember Souza smiling out, nodding at him, and well, he recognized that one to get it to a more favorable count here at 3-1.
Osman has given up 14 home runs for the year. Souza swings and lifts it into center. Coming in is Jones. He is there to make the catch, and the Rays are done. In the fourth, they leave a man and trail 4-0. Rays baseball on Fox Sports Sun, brought to you by your Southern Chevy dealers. By Jeep, get great deals at the Jeep Spring Clearance event. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. The Babe, the Bambino, Babe Ruth presiding over the proceedings. His birthplace just blocks from here. Mark Trumbo leads off the bottom of the fourth. The pitch is a strike. Breaking ball to start Trumbo. Mancini next, and then Joseph.
Any big plans for the off day in Chicago tomorrow?
We do have some. Oh, there's a shot deep to left.
Get it.
And that's going to get out of here. Home run number 12 for Trumbo.
Yeah, maybe we should discuss our plans for tomorrow, because I don't want to talk about that.
Perhaps the Rays can draw up some plans to prevent that and then score a few and get back in this thing. A couple of line drive home runs the last 2 innings.
Yeah, Mark Trumbo, 47 of them a year ago.
Led the league, and he got that ball down and in. You see him get down to it, catch it clean, and drive it about 6 rows up there in left field.
Trey Mancini. Ball, no strikes. Chopped down to third. Loved by Longoria, and the throw to first in time. So one away here. 12 home runs given up now by Alex Cobb, and this is his 17th start.
Yeah, that's what he had done a really nice job of. The previous 4 starts had not given up a home run. And you know, when I mentioned his career numbers against the Orioles, and you know, he's 4-1 in 9 starts with an ERA of 2. 54 innings pitched. He had given up 2 home runs to this team. That's it. 2 here already today. But 2 total against the lineup that he's faced over the last few years in 54 innings is a pretty remarkable number.
Ahead of Caleb Joseph. One misses, and it's 1-1. balls and a strike.
Well, this is, what you were talking about, Dwayne. If you can pull it together and throw up some zeros, you do have a pitcher out there in Gossman who's having a nice afternoon, but the track record this year says it's been a struggle. And this is a day that's conducive to the long ball and to scoring some runs. And you got to believe the Rays at some point are going to put some things together here. And maybe you claw back close enough that, you're within a shot of it.
Yeah, and in this ballpark, regardless, but you're right, you get a day like today, the weather starts to warm up, the little breeze blowing out the left right now.
Yeah.
And there's strike 3 on Joseph, the second out of the inning. So there's a long way to go here in the bottom of the 4th inning right now.
Good pitch here by Alex Cobb. That little two-seamer. Bring it back, catch the outside corner. This group has shown to be extremely resilient here over the first 3 months of the season. So we'll see.
Ruben Tejada was hit by a pitch his first time. The pitch is a strike. We've seen Tejada with a little right field stroke. Had a couple of hits early in the series that way. One and one, and he does have that little turn. He will not shy away from that pitch in to get a hit by pitch once in a while.
Any way to get on base. You try to make yourself valuable to your ball club any way that you can. If that means every now and then you stand your ground, or there you go, try to go to right field.
Lines it to second, caught by Featherston. Will go to the 5th. 5-0. Today's Unlimited Baseball Break brought to you by T-Mobile. Well, the end of this road trip will take the Rays to the north side of Chicago, Wrigley Field, and the World Series champion Cubs this year, 9th in runs scored. That batting average is down a bit. Home runs 6th. The starters ERA over 4.5, and the bullpen a little over 330. And the Cubs at the moment a game under 500. First pitch here to Tim Beckham. We'll be there starting Tuesday, day off tomorrow, and then we'll be with you at 1:30 Tuesday afternoon for the first game of that 2-game set. It'll be Chris Archer against John Lackey in the Tuesday game, and Blake Snell against John Lester in the Wednesday game. Beckham behind in the count, 1-2. Gausman has been sharp. Five strikeouts through 4. Two. Gausman giving up a walk and a single, and both those to Morrison. First time he faced Morrison, he appeared to not want anything to do with him. He walked him on 4 pitches. Now 2-2 to Beckham, opening the 5th. Full count. Gausman, born in Colorado, but he went to school at LSU. Lives in Baton Rouge. And he walks Beckham. Well, there is the start to an inning here. Leadoff man aboard. Fill your Sunday with baseball and country music. Come watch as the Rays take on the Red Sox Sunday, July 9th, and stay after the game for the post-game concert featuring American Idol finalist Lauren Elena. So be part of the fun. Visit RaysBaseball.com today. Taylor Featherston.
I'll tell you, Dwayne, sometimes it starts with something small. That was a very bad walk by Gausman. He's got a 5-run lead, a 1-2 count on Tim Beckham. He throws 3 straight fastballs and can't get anyone near the zone.
1-1. Well, those are the things the Rays hope to take advantage of.
That's right. I mean, and that's why you don't feel like this team, even at 5-0 midway through, is out of this game.
Two balls and a strike. High pop fly back into right. Seth Smith now angling a bit to his left and makes the catch. Featherston, the first out. Jesus Sucre. Now pitcher first, his first time. Cut and a miss. Well, you wonder how that right hand feels now swinging the bat.
Yeah, well, it'd feel a lot better if you made solid contact, I'll tell you that. With a swing and a miss, probably not real good. You can see gingerly keeping it off. Yeah, that really got him flush. Right in that wrist, that with the thumb, outside of that thumb. Throwing hand, top hand on the bat.
A little tapper, and that hurt him.
Yeah, it did. Wow.
It's going to be picked up by Mancini. And so Sucre is out with Beckham going up to second. And boy, you can see the instant reaction on that little number up the right side. That the hand is not in good shape.
Nope. That ball ran up and in. It caught right there. You're going to see it. The hand kind of slid off the bat too. Kind of funny.
Yeah, that's cruel and unusual. If you have a bad finger, bad thumb, in this case, wrist, thumb, and that pitch runs in on the handle, yeah, good luck.
Yeah, one of the things that, one of the references that you make as a pitcher when you get in a guy's kitchen like that, that's one of them. Another one is you talk about thumbing a guy.
Yeah.
Well, he got thumbed after he's already been thumbed.
Yep. Foul ball by Borges. Well, he's putting the equipment back on. One ball, one strike. Two and one. Two outs, a man at second. 2-1 the count. And that's a strike. 2-2. A little talk with Alfonso Marquez after that one. Rays leave a man. We'll go to the bottom of the fifth. 5-0 Baltimore. Baseball on Fox Sports Sun is brought to you by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers and by Jeep. Get great deals at the Jeep Spring Clearance Event. We're through 4.5 in Baltimore. Jesus Sucre continues behind the plate. Rickard leads off the bottom of the fifth. Joey Rickard takes the ball. He's the number 9 hitter. Back around to Seth Smith and Manny Machado. Hot shot on a line right down to Evan Longoria. Well, that ball was powdered.
Nice. I like that. Wait, D. Wayne, give my dictionary back.
How about that shot, Dad?
Well, you know what? Hot corner.
Yep.
Turn and burn, and Evan Longoria right there to make the play. Powder. Look at you. I love it.
One small salvo. That's all that was from my point of view. He's trying to play catch up. What the Rays are doing here, trying to hold the Orioles to 5 runs. The Rays with 4 shots left. Strike the count on Smith. 1. Smith reached on the error on that little comebacker to Cobb, and he threw it away. It would have been the second out of that inning. And then 2 pitches later is when Machado hit the home run to cap a 4-run third. One and 2. Change up the shift a little bit with Longoria going to the right side and Beckham back to the shortstop side now. Just now flip-flopped with a 2-strike count. High fly ball into left. Dickerson is there to make the catch. 2 up and 2 down.
These shifts get to be county specific.
How about being in on that meeting when you figure out how you're going to play the shift with Seth Smith up, and if the count goes to 1 and 2, now you're going to move Longoria to the right side of the bag second and send Beckham back.
Yeah. No, I mean it really, they take it right down. I mean, it's so
count specific.
Yeah, it's really remarkable. It's why these guys have the cheat sheets in their back pockets. Not so much on the infield, but we see the outfielders referring to that all the time as they're moved around from hitter to hitter.
Machado retired on a good play by Beckham in the first. Then he hit the home run in the third. Here's the 0-1 pitch. 1-1.
You start to get that shortstop. You know, the more athletic infielder, you keep him where you think, you know, where the ground balls, where Seth Smith, you know, hits the ground balls early in counts, and then maybe with 2 strikes, he maybe looks to go the other way a little bit more, so you move him back over to traditional short, take your third baseman, and I mean, you see it all the time. Rays aren't the only team to do it. Keeps Tom Foley busy.
Yes, it does. And he's got extra duty today with the injury to Kevin Cass. Both Jim Hickey and Tom Foley stepping up their games. 2 and 2 now. Cass with the fractured left ankle. And so it's Foley and Hickey on the railing as Kevin Cass has a seat on the bench. Fly ball into left. Dickerson to his left makes the catch. 3 up, 3 down. We got inning number 6. 5-0 Baltimore. Ball game. The Orioles struck in the third inning with the help of a Luke single, a hit batter, and an error, and then Manny Machado's 3-run home run. They had a 4-run third. Mark Trumbo opened the fourth inning with his 12th home run of the year to make it 5-0. And the Rays have been trying to solve Kevin Gausman. He has been on his game today.
Yeah, he really has. You know, outside of that little blurb to Tim Beckham where he missed with all the fastballs, he came right back after that, regrouped very well. But the split changeup has been good. The fastball, for the most part, has been pretty good. The velocity's been excellent, and movement on all pitches.
Top of the order, Malik Smith, and he takes a strike. Well, the Orioles are looking at this as a big positive, with Gausman putting now through five scoreless innings. He had 5 1/3 scoreless innings his last outing, and there's a base hit, a line drive into left over Tejada's head. So we'll see what comes of this. Rays picking up their second hit.
Now this pitch meant to be in. It kind of squirrels its way away, and Malix does a nice job of taking that pitch into left field. And now you've got the leadoff man aboard, you've got speed aboard, and you got your lineup, your power guys coming through for the third time against Gausman. This is the time to make your move here.
The third time through, the opposition hitting .396 against Gausman. Dickerson 0 for 2. Ball 1 away. And as well as Gausman has pitched today, the idea of third time through not lost on him either. Here's Dickerson out in front. 1. The breakout first, second, and third time through the lineup.
Pretty significant change there. Up 100. Not base higher than that.
Two and one, everything away to Dickerson. Evan Longoria is the on-deck hitter. Catches the bottom of the zone. It's 2-2.
And after a steady stream of pitches away, all of a sudden Gausman comes in and catches Corey Dickerson by surprise, and he gets the call to boot.
Little tapper. Gausman off the hill, makes the throw to first. Smith moves up to second, and Dickerson is the first out in the 6th inning.
It was a pretty good job of Gausman, the way that he was working over Corey Dickerson, getting him looking away, able to surprise him with the fastball in for strike 2, then back out away and soft right off the end of the bat.
Here's Evan Longoria. The Rays got Morrison to second in the 2nd inning, Beckham to second in the 5th, and now Smith to second in the 6th inning. That's as far as the Rays have advanced any runners today. Evan fouls it out of play. Winning the first 2 games to win the series. Came to the ballpark with the idea of a sweep today, and Baltimore has put up 5 to take the lead. 1-1. Rays 9-3-3 over their last 15 series. That dates back into the middle of May, and they've made a move, winning all those series. ball, 2 strikes. Rays in the East, running third. Boston up by 2 over New York, 4 up on the Rays. Rays in that second wild card spot right now. Baltimore 6.5 back, and Toronto 8.5 off the pace. Two and 2 to Longoria. Rays getting their first look this year at Gossman. Morrison on deck.
Had a couple of nice outings against the Rays a year ago. Give a 1 earned run and 12 2/3 total.
We'll take the count full.
Well, base runners is what you need.
And Morrison on deck. Smith at second, 1 out, full count pitch to Longoria is made. And he strikes him out. Turn that one up to 98.
That's what he's been able to do. Hasn't been in trouble very much at all, but he's been able to make big pitches when he needs to, and this is a big one here. Logan Morrison coming up and on the verge of losing Evan Longoria. He's able to pump the heater right by him, upper 90s once again. Now 7 strikeouts on the afternoon.
Smith still at second. Here is Logan Morrison. Logan has a walk and a single today. Ground ball chopped foul and behind Rocco Baldelli. Nice job playing the carom off the top.
I was thinking the same thing. Oh yeah, assumed her position. Not her first rodeo. There it is. Come, yeah, wait for it.
That's some good fundamentals right there. Turn, but nothing doing back there. Foul out of play. Takes the count to 0-2. He's won the first game 6-4 in 10 innings, hit a couple of home runs. 10-3 winners yesterday, 4 home runs. No runs, just 2 hits so far today. A little tap to the right side. Scope with a pickup. Throw to first is in time. And the Rays leave a man. They do not score. We go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. From Camden Yards, 25th anniversary of this ballpark. 5-0 Baltimore leading the Rays. MLB.com at bat is your #1 mobile app for live Rays baseball. So stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Rays home screen icons and app features, as well as live game video highlights, StatCast, and a lot more. Download MLB.com at bat today. Temperature in the upper 80s in Baltimore as we go to the Orioles half of the 6th. Alex Cobb, 69 pitches through 5 runs, 4 earned. Jonathan Scope takes the breaking ball that's low. Scope has struck out and grounded out to short.
Baby.
2-0. Adam Jones next, followed by Mark Trumbo. High pop flies into right. Borges is after it and makes the catch. He had time to get over there as Scope skied that one to the right side.
And up there for a long time, Peter Borges settles underneath it as Alex Cobb continues to work here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Adam Jones, a couple of ground outs handled by Tim Beckham at shortstop. It's a ball, no strike count. One and one. A foul ball back at third. Mary Vanover, the crew chief, down there on the call. Little tap. Great grab by Cobb and the throw from his knees, and he makes that play. What a play by Cobb, stretching to grab it and then the throw.
And first of all, an example of Adam Jones swinging at everything. This ball well down and off the plate, and a nice job. Alex Cobb showing some athleticism on the mound. Little dive off the bump and then throw it from the knees. And that play right there may earn him the opportunity to catch a pop-up.
Mark Trumbo. Trumbo lined a homer to left in the 4th. One and one. Started to go, and a check, says Chad Fairchild. That is on the corner. Marquez.
You know, there have been times that pitch has been called a strike. Other times the same exact pitch not called a strike, and you're starting to see a little frustration on both sides here.
Interesting that I think we've seen that pitch up a little bit off the plate called a strike, and the pitch down that appears to be on the corner called a ball. So if it's elevated a little bit more, even though it's off the plate away, it's been a strike.
These guys, all these hitters and pitchers for that matter, just look for consistency. Always don't have to agree with the strike zone, because it will vary, but as long as you're consistent.
Inside outs, that pitch foul, out of play. Moving in on him. Inside for ball 4. Cobb gives up the walk with 2 outs in the 6th. He hit a man, Tejada, back in the 4-run 3rd. That's the first man he's walked today. Kevin Cash with his ankle elevated. Fractured that. Jogging just outside Orioles Park here earlier.
I mean, you've got to be saying to yourself, are you kidding me?
You know who he's going to hear from.
Oh, yeah,
Terry Francona.
He probably already has.
I'm sure he has.
And if he hasn't, he's got messages waiting on that phone. How about Terry Francona's going to take his entire coaching staff, obviously, to the All-Star game, but then also invited Kevin Cash to be a part of that. What a huge honor. So congratulations to Cash on that. But yeah, he's going to get worn out about the ankle.
Hot shot third. Nice pick up by Longoria. Throw to first right there, and a good play to get Mancini. No runs, a walk, and a man left. Put a little star by that one for Evan Longoria down at third. We go to the 7th. 5-0 Baltimore. Game here. We're in the 7th inning. That's a little preview of where the Rays are headed. A Cub fan here in Baltimore. He might be doing a little scouting. Here's what's coming up Tuesday. Rays Live, the pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers, and we'll hear from the Cubs manager Joe Madden, and hopefully not get thrown out. In the meantime, Orestes will break down Ben Zobrist. All kinds of clubhouse guest, as we know, in Joe Madden's clubhouse.
I will be looking forward very much to your sit down with the Cubs skipper.
It'll be fun. Do a little reminiscing about Rays days and the last fall.
Yeah. The goal of every team and every manager.
Steven Souza Jr. takes a strike to open the 7th. Quickly behind Kevin Gausman, 0-2. Back into the screen. Beckham next, and then Featherston due up. Well, the Rays have not been able to do much at all so far against Kevin Gausman. Gausman just over 100 pitches now. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The deepest he's gone into a game in pitch count, 116. And that has been on 2 separate occasions. And he strikes out Souza Jr. Number 8.
And fastball at times has been overpowering here for Gausman.
An 0 for 3 for Souza Jr. today so far. And Tim Beckham.
Well, he has such a rich history here at Oriole Park. And coming into today, he was 22 out of 55 here, a 400 average. 5 homers, 10 driven in, some big hits for this Rays team. And Gausman is, well, got him on the changeup, got him on the heater. How about that nasty slider? Well, he's feeling it out there. And well, the Orioles, this is the version of Gausman that they thought they were getting from Jump Street, from opening day. And really, it's been the last 2 starts for him.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We got a preview on the very first hitter, Malik Smith, to start this game.
Yeah.
This is what I have today. Live with it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's been a tough day for the Rays hitters with Gausman. He's been that good.
Well, yeah, you go back to that sequence. Fastball, backdoor breaking ball, changeup, see you later, who's next? And that's been really the afternoon so far.
Now 1 and 2. And if you're a pitcher and you go to the mound and you have that kind of stuff, that has to be a special feeling.
You feel like you're 2 pitches ahead of the hitter. I mean, that everything is out there. You're able to execute, and it is a special feeling. And, you talk about different sports being in the zone. You just feel like you can do no wrong. And so far, all of the pitches have contributed. Hasn't been one particular thing, but that changeup, that split has been very, very good.
There's Featherston, a couple of fly balls, and he's 0 for 2. That ball is a foul ball, and that hit the foul side of the turf here. It started to head back toward the line, but stayed foul. Strike the count. This one is down. It's 1-1. Two and 1. Ground ball, third, backhanded. Machado Stoner first in time. And the Rays are up and down 1-2-3 in the top of the 7th inning. Orioles have the lead as we take a look at Fort McHenry. The defense of that fort inspired Francis Scott Key to pen the Star-Spangled Banner.
We're going out the window.
After taking the first 2 games of this series by scores of 6-4 and 10-3, and if they are to sweep this series, it will require some late game heroics. The Rays down 5-0. A 4-run third, keyed on a home run by Manny Machado, and another home run from Mark Trumbo in the 4th inning. Meanwhile, the Rays have managed only 4 base runners, 2 walks, and 2 hits.
Yeah, you know, Gausman has been very, very good. But you look back at that 3rd inning, Dwayne. That is an inning that Alex Cobb will probably remember the rest of his career. I mean, so frustrating the way that it started out. Caleb Joseph is going to lead off the inning. You're going to run that fastball up and in and jam him. Did exactly what you wanted to do, but this happens. Ball falls into no man's land. Frustrated by that, how about up and in to Tejada? He hits him. That's the ball that hits Sucre's hand. And then after a sacrifice, you get the tapper back to the mound, and you sail the throw. That would score 1 run. Now runners at 2nd and 3rd, and who knows where Alex's head is at this point. It's been frustrating so far. Mislocation, and Machado lines that ball out to left field, and that all happened so quickly. Before you can blink, it was all of a sudden 4-0, and in very, very frustrating fashion. And the Orioles have not looked back, and Gausman has made it hold up.
Well, within 11 pitches, they had 4 runs in that inning. And the Rays have not recovered. They trail 5-0. Caleb Joseph will open the bottom of the 7th. Ruben Tejada and then Joey Rickard. Want to know the count? The Baltimore catcher, as we just saw, opened that 4-run third with a base hit. He was jammed by a pitch. 2-0. Close. 3-ball, no strike count. It's 3-1. That's going to be a strike. That one down there on the outside corner at the knees. Called a strike this time. There's a base hit, punch through the right side. The leadoff single. It's only the 4th hit for Baltimore. This summer, some of the biggest names in basketball hit the court for a 10-city professional 3-on-3 battle. Ice Cube presents Big 3 basketball from Charlotte tomorrow at 8 Eastern only on FS1. Chase Whitley is up in the Rays bullpen. Check swing by Tejada. When you look at everything except the runs, Cobb's given up 4 hits, hit a man, walk one, couple strikeouts, but 5 runs. 2 of the hits home runs. Two and 0. You could say Cobb a victim of circumstance, but he was the cause of part of that circumstance.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The hit batter, and then getting that ground ball. You make a great pitch. You get the little tapper right back to the mound, and then you yourself airmail it.
Line drive into left. One hop in front of Dickerson. First 2 men on in the 7th.
I mean, you feel for him because we've all been there. You get that double play ball, you turn around and you throw it into center field, and you're just like, I mean, what's one of the worst feelings that you can have on the mound is when you hurt yourself, you hurt your own cause. Right now in a little bit of trouble, needs another ground ball. Jim Hickey looking for a little guidance from Kevin Cash. What do you want me to do here? Got Whitley up.
Joey Rickard, well, a similar situation as the 3rd when they had Caleb Joseph at 2nd and Ruben Tejada at 1st with nobody out. Rickard put down the sacrifice bunt. Set to swing away this time. Takes the pitch for a strike. Foul out of play, 0-2. Boston has a big lead on the Blue Jays in Toronto. They're in the top of the 7th inning. And it's 12-1 Boston. Red Sox started the day with a 2-game lead on the Yankees and a 4-game lead over the Rays. The 0-2. Did he go? Yes, he did. That's a foul tip strikeout. Tried to get the bat back, but he's out on strikes. That's the first out here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Trying to get it started early, and this ball's going to run up and in. And Rickard stops the swing. Went too far, number 1, but that ball right off the bat and into the glove of Sucre. And into the webbing.
One gone with 2 men aboard. Astros lead the Yankees in Houston. That's in the top of the 4th inning. 3-0 Houston. And Jim Hickey heads to the mound now with the top of the order due, Seth Smith. The Rays conference on the hill.
And this is where there's some intrigue here this afternoon, because Hickey's going to come out to talk to his pitcher. He may come out to take out his pitcher. Not the case here.
So Cobb starts his 4th time through the lineup. Reached on the error. Cobb's throwing error in the 3rd. That scored a run, and he scored on Machado's home run that followed. Shot toward left center field. Smith on the run. Got it on his glove. Couldn't hold it. Ball on the warning track. Joseph scores. Tejada's going to follow him to the plate. Into second with a double Smith. 2-run score, and it's 7-0 Baltimore. Alex Smith got his glove on it, but that was it.
That ball hit very well by Seth Smith out deep into left center field, and Alex Smith made a game effort to try and get there. See him take it off. He gets a jump, a break, and then that ball right off the top of his glove. That close.
That will be it for Alex Cobb. Jim Hickey to make the pitching change. Is presented by Jeep. Bottom of the 7th inning. The Baltimore Orioles have added a couple runs and have a pinch runner, Craig Gentry, at second. Boy, Alex Smith made a great effort on that ball. Take a look at Gentry there on second, our pinch runner in this game. Smith ranging into left center field and made a great effort, got his glove on it, but not in a position to hold it.
It's been that kind of an afternoon here for the Rays. Have not been able to get anything done offensively off Gausman, and the Orioles able to take advantage of some mistakes, well-placed bloops, and a couple of home runs to take this lead. And now Chase Whitley comes on for the 25th time. Very frustrating afternoon for Alex Cobb. He's thrown the ball so well in his last 4 starts.
Manny Machado goes after the first pitch and skies it to the left side. Longoria, foul ball, shading his eyes, and makes the catch. 2 gone. Took a while for that one to come down.
Yes, it did. That was up there. Longoria had to hold the pose for a while as you take a look at Alex Cobb and you wonder what's going through his mind these afternoons. These are the afternoons, not only extremely frustrating, but you realize it's going to be another 5 or 6 days before I get to go out there and rectify this, and that's the toughest part of being a starting pitcher. Even as a bullpen guy, you say, okay, I can bounce back and maybe I'll be out in the game tomorrow, day after tomorrow. But as a starter, you know you've got that built-in 5 or 6 days, maybe 6 now with the day off tomorrow, before you can be back out there and try to get back in the win column, and those are some long days.
Yeah, this is one of those days which underlines the idea that anything can happen in a start. You know, he threw the ball pretty well. Ran into that issue in the third when he made the bad throw to first. A couple of pitches later, gave up the home run to Machado, and just that quickly, it was a 4-0 ball game. Popped up. Foul ball. Morrison after it with room, and that takes care of Baltimore in the 7th. But they add 2. It's a 7-0 game as we go to the 8th.
Park, Kevin Gausman was absolutely fantastic, and he set that tone. Dwayne, you're talking about it, the first at-bat of the game, 3 straight quality pitches, gets Souza Jr. there with a changeup, overpowering fastball at times. He got that thing up 97, 98 miles an hour. I'll tell you, he was outstanding today, had all of his pitches working. And here's your Coors Light Cold Hard Facts, and that is the last 2 lines of Gausman. It's been a frustrating season. He came in with the 2nd highest ERA in the American League, but look at the last 2. Got it started in Toronto against the Jays, 5 1/3 of scoreless baseball, and really tops it off here this afternoon. 7 innings of scoreless, 9 punchies, just 2 hits given up.
The new pitcher is Michael Gibbons out of Plant High. The Rays will send their catcher, Jesus Sucre, to lead off against him. 35th appearance for Gibbons. And his first pitch is a strike. Gentry, who came on as a runner in the bottom of the 7th, stays on to play right field now. Greg Gentry out there in right. One and one. The count. Gausman, 112 pitches in the 7 innings he worked, and leaves with a 7-run lead. Sucre takes it for ball 2, now 2-1. There's a shot back into left. Rickard will look up, and that one's out of here. So Sucre hits his 4th home run of the year, and the Rays are on the board. Sucre who has stayed in the game despite that banged up right hand. And he bangs that one out of here.
How about that? Jesus Sucre saying, hey, let me show you about how bad my hand hurts. He takes a nasty pitch here from Givens. Good velo running back in, and he's able to sweep it. Get it over the wall in left field. That's a nice payback after the way that he got jammed in his last at bat.
Yeah, and you could tell with that ball rolling to the right side, that hurt his hand. He stays on, hits a home run. Peter Borges, count is 1-1. First home run for Sucre since May the 17th when he hit one in Cleveland. Strike 1 and 2. On the ground, that's going to go through, and Borges is aboard. A couple of hits here for the Rays out of Sucre and Borges. Home run and now the single.
Well, out of the 8 and 9 holes, and Givens right here misses location to Sucre, costs him a home run. Mislocation there to Borges, and he's able to get it in the hole. Trying to go away. That ball runs back middle up.
Alex Smith, the hitter now. There's a strike. Upstairs, it's a ball and a strike. Alex 1 for 3 today. Came into the game hitting .310. Evens the count. 3-2.
I think at the velocity that Givens is able to get that his fastball to, kind of slings that ball from the side. Good athlete, very strong arm. I mean, anytime you're working sidearm and you're getting in the mid upper 90s, that is such a rarity.
Ground ball second. Scope to Hada 1. First base 2. They double up to speedy Alex Smith. Second short to first.
Yeah, the only way you're going to get Alex Smith, you know, back to the pitcher maybe, and you're going to hit it sharply towards the middle infielders as they're moving towards the bag, and that's exactly what happened. Scope right there with an easy flip to Tejada, a nice turn, and they got him by plenty. You're not going to see that very often.
It's Corey Dickerson. Corey looking for his first hit of the afternoon. Pitch is outside. Hold off that pitch, and it's 1-1. It's unusual. Dickerson's been right on so many pitches to see him pull off a pitch. That's a news flash. Ground ball. Backhanded by Scope. Throw to first in time. The Rays get a run on the Sucre home run. Leave no one, and we're headed into the bottom of the 8th. Rays finally on the board. but they trail 7-1. We're in Baltimore, headed into the bottom of the 8th. The Bonefish catch of the game, and it's this play made by Alex Cobb on the comebacker by Adam Jones in the 6th inning. Look at that. That's a flying grab, and then the throw from his knees. As we go to the bottom of the 8th, Chase Whitley, who came on in the 7th inning, got the last 2 outs, faces Jones here in the 8th. The ball, no strikes. Pitch is popped up, short right. Borges takes care of that. Trumbo will be the hitter. Miguel Castro up in the bullpen for Baltimore. Foul out of play. It's a strike. 0-1. Ball walked in the 6th inning. Hot shot. Oh, what a great stop by Longoria on the backhand and the throw to first. You're not going to see any better than that one. Longoria, a superb play. He made an outstanding play in the 6th. This one tops that one.
Bonefish catch of the day was revealed a little too soon.
Well, as a result, this will be the Geico great moment.
Okay. I'll take that. That was a great moment. A very frustrating afternoon, but that play right there, that ball was a rocket off the bat of Trumbo. And you're talking about a short hop, hooking line drive, backhand by your third baseman. I'll tell you that's why he's got a couple of gold gloves on the mantle. And yet every day we see him out there working so hard, taking ground balls. You know, every day he starts out on his knees in the grass. says he does that to take his legs out of it. He can just work on his hand-eye, and then he gets up and moves back, and he does it every single day. I tell that anytime I'm talking to kids, about the fact that baseball is an everyday type of sport, working on your skills. I use that example because I'm like, if this guy with a couple of gold gloves is doing that every day, hey, 10-year-old, what excuse do you have to not be out there rolling tennis balls off the garage door? I mean, anything.
Well, when you see game time, that's only the surface of all the time that goes into getting you there.
It really is remarkable. The journey to get here, the challenge to stay, and the work that you put in to make sure that at 7:10, 1:35, whatever the time is, that you are ready to go, sharpened and ready to go, and he puts the work in.
2-2 now. 3-2, and this game notwithstanding, defense has been an issue for the Rays, but we're starting to see, I mean, Longoria's there day in, day out, but we're starting to see some defense here headed into the second half that should be a lot better than what we saw in the first half.
Yeah. You're seeing that, we've seen what Echeverria brings to the shortstop position. Tim Beckham, how about the way he played out there today, making some fantastic plays, and it becomes contagious, really. Everybody locking it down a little bit more and making those plays.
I think it not only elevates the other defenders, but I think it really elevates your pitching staff.
Yeah.
There's a spring in the step of the pitchers knowing who and what is behind them now. A lot more confident
to attack the zone.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You pitch to contact. If you need a strikeout, go for the strikeout. But if not, try to get these guys out. You think about the way Matt Andriese throws. It's almost like you watch him out there pitching. He's like, I'm trying to get every guy out. 3 pitches or fewer.
Yeah.
And so he's out there, get ahead, boom, put you away, get your little ground ball, pitch to contact, because you know the guys behind you are lockdown defenders.
Well, and you sort of have I think a state of mind that if I don't get in my own way, if I just cover the bases, do the things I'm supposed to do, I've got a really good chance to be successful with the defense behind you.
Share the wealth.
Yeah. Want to know the count here on Caleb Joseph. 1-1. One ball, 2 strikes. And a take by Joseph for ball 2. To Featherstone, served into right by Joseph, and with 2 outs, Mancini was on the move. So Joseph has his 3rd hit.
One of those days for the Orioles. This ball down and away, and Joseph able to just flip that ball right off the end of the bat, get it over the head of Featherston out there at second base, and the inning continues. It just won't end, Dwayne. Which leads me to my question to you. Who had the bigger meltdown yesterday? The Yankee bullpen or the judges in the Manny Pacquiao fight?
The judges.
They awarded a unanimous, mind you, decision to a fighter that connected on 15% of his punches. 15% of his punches.
It's hard to explain that in any rational way.
One of the scorecards was 117, 111, ignoring the pop-ups.
Featherston takes care of that. The inning is over. No runs ahead, a couple men left, and a great play by Evan Longoria on the rocket hit by Trumbo. The Trumbo rocket diffused by Longoria. 7-1 Baltimore. Rays will pick up the road trip Tuesday and take on the 2016 World Series champs, the Chicago Cubs. Down 3-1 in that World Series against the Cleveland Indians. The Cubs emerged winners and put an end to that north side drought. We'll be with you Tuesday at 1:30 for the first game of that two-game set. Chris Archer will oppose John Lackey. And then on the Wednesday game, Blake Snell against John Lester. A couple of righties and a couple lefties square off at Wrigley Field. The Rays will make their third and final stop on this road trip. Our coverage begins at 1:30 each day. When we go to the ninth here in Baltimore, the Rays, taking the first two games to win the series, had an idea that they'd try to sweep. Well, they're down by a count of 7-1, and they see Miguel Castro now, the third pitcher.
Well, we saw him earlier in this series. He's on for the 10th time. He's got tremendous stuff, a live arm, good velocity, good movement.
Evan Longoria fouls the first pitch for a strike.
Tell you what, he is a tall, lanky drink of water, huh? And I'll tell you, he slings the ball to the plate. Love how, you know, his hand, we talked about Gossman and the hand out in front, that live whippy type arm where you get the good velocity, the good finish.
The ground ball to short. Tejada, long throw, and Evan is the first out here in the ninth inning. Coming up, Rays Live, the postgame presented by WB. Mason, Rich, and Orestes will break down this game. We'll hear from Kevin Cash at his postgame press conference. Fractured ankle and all. Alex Cordry will be along with interviews from the clubhouse. Logan Morrison. Morrison with a walk and a single in the game is 1 for 2. 1-0 the count. Pitch down, 2-0. Well, 2 home runs yesterday for Logan Morrison, giving him 24. One of them out on Utah Street. Pitch popped up. Good thing that helicopter left.
Dwayne, I'm not kidding.
That scope is there to make the catch.
That would have been incoming.
Yeah.
Under fire. He took an awful long time enjoying the view.
Yep.
Trying to catch this last half inning. But you're right. That would have come into play.
What is the ground rule if you strike a passing helicopter?
Do you treat it like a catwalk or a ring?
Why not?
Well, it would have been in play, so someone would have had to make the play on.
Steven Susie Jr. He fouls it off his foot. Here you are, 2 outs in the 9th. He's had a great series, and then he fouls this one right off his foot.
This is the Rays' day in a nutshell. In one pitch.
Listen to this.
Protection or not, it's going to leave a mark.
A 1-strike count. There's a liner, and that's going to be a base hit back toward the corner. That'll make that foot feel better as Souza heads into second with a double. His 14th double.
At the very least, it'll keep it loose for a time after he was able to leg that out. Nice little payback right there. No ill effects.
No, nothing like a line drive hit to make everything feel much better.
In a related story, Jesus Sucre's thumb feels very good right now, too.
Yeah. Over the 8th with the home run, and here's Tim Beckham. Pops it to the right side. Mancini, and now the second baseman, Scope, makes the catch to end this ball game. Pop foul, and the Orioles win it 7-1. 7-7-0 for Baltimore. 1-5-1 for the Rays. Gausman the winner, Cobb the loser. For Brian Anderson, Alex Cordry, this is Dwayne Stats. Hope you've enjoyed the telecast. If not, the by W.B. Mason next.